So getting there. So as a kid, then when did you have to make a decision between going down music and abandoning your love for graphics and art and things like that?
Oh, well, you mean as far as like what
Deciding
made
which
me?
to take it one serious, because if you're getting a
It was
scholarship to
hard. It was tough. My godfather actually made that decision for me.
okay, so as everyone forgets Barry White, you said Barry.
He
Okay.
made that decision for me. I just remember we had a
How
one
old were
day we
you
had a
about
oh,
that time?
I was like 17, 18,
Okay.
17, 18, somewhere around there. I just remember we had a conversation and I just remember him, he said like, because he always used to call me Chuckii. He said, Chuckii, what you doing? And I say, oh, I'm just drawing, I'm doing some stuff. And he said, yeah, that's all right, boy. He said, I don't know why you effing with that music. He cursed like a sailor. So why you effing with that music? That's bull crap, blah, 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 blah. You should be doing music. Music is your love. That's what you should be doing, Chuckii. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I was listening to him, but, I like doing a little bit of everything. Like I said, it was for me, I love to do like various things. So, but I got a call one day from him, and he called me and said, I'm going on tour. I'm going to France. I'm going to do a show. Want you to play. I'm like, okay, well, you want me to play? All right. So I'm in the Love Unlimited Orchestra. I'm playing. We did we had a couple of rehearsals, and I remember we went over to France, and this was in '87. We did the show, and I just remember during the show, this is where it all changed for me.
Wow.
During the show, we're doing it, and in the middle of the show, Barry says, I'm going to introduce the band, and so and so. Then he got to me, and he said, and this is my godson playing on keyboards, Mr. Chuckii Booker. And when he said it, I heard all these girls screaming. And I just immediately, I was like, okay, I know what I want to do now. I know what
Oh,
immediately. I said, I'm a musician. I just recall, I don't recall any girls screaming when I like drew a character or a picture of them when I was in school. I don't recall really getting any screams when I played baseball or football. So I'm like, oh, this is it. That's what did it.
you know what? When you think about it, I mean, is it common for Black kids at that time to get into art and design and to think that there could be a career? And I wonder if that was a sense of, it's good that you're talented, but art at
it.
those days.
It takes so much more than just talent especially for Black children to make it. It's so hard. It's so tough. Even like I have conversations with my mom now, and she was just like, man, I just didn't know how to do it or how to get you into a space to where you could say, look, you got to find an occupation or a job to do what you want to do. She always wanted me to be a musician.
Okay.
However, I think she just wanted me to explore other avenues just in case, I didn't cut it, So she made sure that I stayed in school and did other things, which was great because I did end up getting a scholarship, for graphic arts. But I think somewhere along the line she knew that I was probably going to be a musician anyway. But it's so hard, man. I had breaks, I would happen to be in the right place at the right time, had the right people around me. But again, 95% of the people that have the same talent I do aren't so lucky and they don't have those breaks. So in that sense, I was very fortunate and I'm very blessed to be in a position to not only take advantage of the opportunities that my godfather gave me, uh, but I'm going to tell you this right now, though. I will say this. Had my godfather not been there uh, as a musician, I still felt in my heart that I was going to be successful anyway because it was the drive that I had. Once I knew exactly what I wanted to do, there was no drive like no other. And I
Wow.
think that's what my godfather's saying. He said, okay, Yeah, people say, "Oh, he had a silver spoon in his mouth. Oh, Barry helped him." No, Barry did help me, but it's also Barry gives you a map, and it's like, okay, which way you going to go? I can only do so much for you.
Yeah.
At some point, it's up to you whether or not you want to make that decision to give it your all.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, I had to drive like nothing else.
I think those of us who knew of you, especially internationally or so, probably didn't put the connection with Barry White until later on where you're mentioning him. So I doubt if we thought, oh yeah, Barry White gave him opened the doors for him. But I do wonder, he was, he was a legend, but in the 70s. So growing up, when he's coming around the house, did you see him as wow? Did you just see him as your godfather, or did you not see him as the superstar? With the, he's tall. He's got the deepest voice on earth. I mean,
Wow, I mean, when I first met him, I was 10 years old, so he was already at the height of his career.
wow.
As you know, this was like in '73 when he had '72 when he was recording "Can't Get Enough of Your Love."
Wow.
This is where I first met him. And he came over to my mom's house, because at that time, him and my godmother, they were dating. No, they were in a relationship. So my godmother told him about me and said, "Hey, what my best friend, her son is really, it seems like he's into music, so maybe if you give him some, courage and, some encouragement." And I remember he came over and I just seen him walking up the stairs to my house. I'm just like, wow, that's Barry White, man. It's like, wow, as a kid, that's just, and he was so cool. He walked in and he just said, I just remember him saying, like, "Oh, Celestine and, Glody, tell me that you play the piano. You gonna play something for me?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll play." So I went over to the piano, I played a couple of songs, and he said, "That's good." He said, "Can you play something else?" And I played it, and I just remember he had a conversation and with my mother, and next thing I knew, I was going up to his house, and just hanging out with him and watching him, watching him in the studio. I used to be in the studio with him and just I was like a sponge. I just took it all in.
Wow. So he had a recording studio at his home.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Back in those
Oh
days,
yeah.
I mean, it's so much that we're seeing it
Oh
now,
yeah.
but to do it back in those days, that's wow.
Oh yeah. Oh no, his studio was fly. It was a trip because he had his main home like right here, and then you go up the stairs. He bought this house that was above him. He turned that house into a studio, a full-fledged crazy studio, man. And I just remember I used to go there and just watch him, check him out. He also used to work in another studio in the Valley called Whitney Recording Studios, which was in the San Fernando Valley. Um, I remember that as well. But once he built Rise Studios, which was the name of his studio, that's where I spent a majority of my time with him, working at his studio.
But as a kid, because I would have thought then as a kid watching him record, the sense of wow, I wouldn't mind either recording or producing or just learning and being in that. But you split between the music and drawing, and you just I guess
Yeah,
the novelty of everything just disappeared soon, and you
yeah. Like I said, I was always exposed to the music, even as a kid, but I just didn't know, but I think Barry really brought it out in me as far as like, okay, this is I think he wanted to see if I was really interested in it. Because after the first time I was in the studio with him, I kept saying, "Hey man, when you gonna get me back in, man? I need this. I need to see how you create, how because I had the same sentiment. And at 10 years old, I felt like I was ready to produce then.
wow.
Seriously. I never told him that, but I felt in my heart like I can do this. Everything you're doing, I can do it. I just
Wow.
didn't really get the opportunity until, later on.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if this was now where you just get a laptop and you just make your beats.
If I had that back then, it would have been a wrap. Trust me, it would have been a wrap.
Hey, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you loved what you watched, There's over 100 artists that we've interviewed, so please check out the videos. Remember to like, share, how not unsubscribe, but better still, become a member of Halftime Chat and get exclusive videos ahead of time. But thanks for watching. Take care.